Hello everybody, my name is Slavomira Harcegova. You are watching As Vivendi by Slavomira, and my today's guest is a very inspirational woman, Daria Ates. She was sentenced to battle an incurable autoimmune disease for the rest of her life, but the unlikely discovery she made helped her reverse the symptom of the disease. Her story is also a part of a book, Wild Wise Women, which is the quest of 10 fearless women entrepreneurs who beat all the odds and survived the unimaginable. So I'm so excited today that Daria will share her story with you personally. Hello, Daria.
Hello,
Hello,
Slavia.
welcome.
Thank you
Welcome. I'm so
for having
happy
me.
that you are here today.
Oh, thank you. I'm really
So,
excited to be here as well. Yeah.
yes. So, can you tell us what disease or what problems do you have to face in your life, and then how did you overcome it?
Oh, what problem? I think it would be rather plural. Many, many problems, I would say. Yeah. Since childhood, I was very smiley. Always everybody called me the sunshine because I was always, I don't know if definitely not looking consciously as a child, but I was always seeing positive things around me. So it really helped me to grow up as a happy person. But then, as life went on, and I became a wife and a business owner, and then a mother, very young mother actually. So I somehow forgot about who I was, that I was that sunshiny, smiley girl. And all that took over, actually, my life took over. And I started being overwhelmed and feeling that rather than expressing my emotions, expressing my feelings, I'd rather just keep quiet and going. And it took time. It took many, many years, before those symptoms started creeping up. And I started being really exhausted. I wasn't able to do anything but sleep, during the day, during the night. And I just thought it's normal because I worked really hard, I raised the family and I had a business, and then actually I realized that apparently wasn't normal because I was sleeping 16 hours a day and I just stopped being able to work at all. I was about a year out of work because I just wasn't able to do anything, just survive, basically. Just basic survival, going to the bathroom, get something to drink. I wasn't bored at all or bothered to eat something because, and I still kept putting weight on, even though if I had one meal in 2 days, it would be really a lot, for me because I didn't have any appetite and I was so tired. I just couldn't be bothered to eat, even though my husband prepared meal for me. I just didn't want it. So then he forced me actually to go to a doctor, and he said, this is really something wrong going on here, you need to check it out. So yeah, they took my blood sample, and after a couple of days they just called me and they said, you need to come back straight away as soon as possible. So I was a bit worried, obviously. I was like, oh, something wrong is really going on here, apparently. And at the doctor's surgery, I just was told that I had an incurable disease. And you might imagine what kind of shock it was for me because I was pretty healthy at that time, always active, always doing things and singing and dancing and just being happy. And all of a sudden, incurable disease. So they said it's called Hashimoto's disease. And it's actually an autoimmune condition when my immune system started mistakenly recognize my thyroid gland as an enemy and started trying and doing its best to destroy it. And until that time, I knew we had the thyroid gland, but I had no idea how important this gland is for functioning of all system, not only digestion, but hormone creating, hormonal balance. So it was quite a shock, but I said, okay, so what can we do with it? And the doctor said, there is nothing we can do, just you are going to get lifetime medication to manage those symptoms. And because this was not something I was happy with, so obviously when I left that surgery, I was crying my eyes out because I thought like, oh boy, what's this? So am I going to die? Or because she didn't say you can have it for 50 years or you are going to have it 6 months and you're going to die. So I really had no idea what to expect. So when I started researching, and it's all in my book, in that book I co-author, you mentioned the Wild Wise Women. This story is there because it was actually the beginning of my personal development. Because what I started I started actually looking for causes of what actually caused my disease. Because when I asked the doctor, she said, we don't know the cause. So I thought like, okay, so maybe I can see. So I started Googling and looking for some information. And trust me, it wasn't easy at all because it's so much information on internet these days. You have to be really trained in it. I would say trained in what to believe, what to do not. People sometimes put stuff that can even hurt you, harm your health even more. So I went through trials and errors, and one time even my son used to call me a witch, which is somebody who just tries everything really extraordinary or really not usually, very unusual things. So I even found out that I better create and make my own skincare and cleaning material to get rid of all chemicals from the household, because chemicals was the cause, and but then I found out actually the stress cause chemicals as well, in our body, and they are very harmful. So it was a journey. It was a journey, really. But only then, when I actually found I need to go within, I need to start with my thoughts, I need to start checking up on my thoughts, because what we think creates emotions, and those emotions actually creates our behavior. So I started recognizing some pattern there. I was always the person who, as I said, kept quiet rather than speaking up for myself, right? Because I didn't want to cause any arguments or even hurt somebody else. So I preferred to do not say anything, even when I really felt I'd better say something. I'd better, protect myself, or to speak up, to express my opinion when it was important to me. But again, because of that fear of hurting somebody else, I didn't. And only then I learned that not speaking up for ourselves is very often turning into something around our vocal cords, about our voice. And then I realized the thyroid gland actually is touching our vocal cords in our neck, in our throat. So then it started making sense, and I was like, all right, okay. So what do I need to do differently to reverse all this? So started with different diet, nutrition. I was looking for stuff which will rather nourish my body rather than harm. And with thyroid disease, with Hashimoto's disease, it's a lot of stuff you need to learn. You need to start following different way. However, what you have here is the most important thing. Because when we focus on negative things, we cause negative feelings. And when we cause negative feelings, we cause stress in our body. And stress causes kind of corrodation, inflammation in our body. And behind every disease, every condition, guess what? It's inflammation, right? Or behind most of conditions. So I learned actually how to how to decrease my stress level with meditation, with slight exercise. Slowly but surely I started doing yoga, which I've never done before. It was always something I considered boring. It was just something, yoga, no, it's not for me. I was so lively, so alive. But at this time, as I was really struggling, I found yoga something really relaxing, something I could manage. And step by step, I started building my self-confidence again. And this was very important for my health, because when we are those people who never speak up for ourselves, we have not much self-confidence, do we? Because we rather keep away from those arguments and situations that could cause something might be threatened with argument or with something similar. And even though actually from those years when I already was diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease, I started having problem, on my scalp. There was some sore patch there. I couldn't even brush my hair. It was very painful, very sore. And doctors just couldn't figure it out what it was. They tried some, steroids cream, and nothing really worked. So I started going again within me, and I started checking up, okay, what is it if I have got some skin condition? What emotion or what am I actually suppressing within that my body is asking for attention? Come on, do something different. And only then I found out actually that when you have got some skin condition, it usually means that you don't feel comfortable, confident enough in your skin. Then I went to doctor. Actually, it took them about 6 years to give me the right diagnose. And then they said I had actually lupus. And it's another autoimmune disease, right? So autoimmune, again, my immune system started attacking my own body because something wasn't right there. And again, instead of, panicking now, because I already went through some journey on personal development, and healing journey, absolutely. So I started actually researching about lupus, and again, so much information. Then I decided to, what I said to that doctor when he actually diagnosed me. He said, there is nothing much we can do, only steroids, and immunosuppressant. And I said, like, excuse me, my immune system is already, compromised. If we are going to suppress it, I don't think it's going to help. I don't think I'm going to feel okay. So because I had a really nice chat with him, he was a scientist, professor at the university as well. And he said, okay, so what do you suggest? And I said, doctor, can you give me 1 year, give me 12 months? Because it lasts for 6 years and I still didn't die. So I guess I can survive another 12 months without any medication. So I said, give me 12 months and I will see what I can do myself. If after 12 months it's not better, then we will talk about some medications, okay, some treatment. And he just smiled and he said, okay, you are the first person who said something like this, but it's up to you. I can't force you for any treatment. So I did it. And in 12 months, when I saw him again, he was blown away because there is no sore patch. There are no symptoms at all. He took blood sample again, and there were still some antibodies. It means it's still there. That autoimmune condition, it's still there, but symptoms are gone, right? So he even took a picture and he said, can I use it for my students at the university, you know? I said, like, yes, at the medical school. I said, oh, yes, of course, you know, because this is something which I truly believe in. You know, mind over matter. I don't know if you ever heard mind over matter. Means actually, you know, Dr. Bruce Lipton, he talks about it really beautifully, how we can even change our DNA by different thinking, different thoughts. You know, we can change our brain neural pathways. We can create new neurons even, which wasn't known up to just recently. You know, as they said, for example, Alzheimer's was incurable disease. Now they know it's not true, because if they train those people think different way, they can create new neural pathways, new neurons, and the brain can actually start growing back. You know, because with Alzheimer's and these kind of diseases, the brain starts shrinking and you start losing parts of the brain. It just disappears. But with thinking different and positive way and training and affirmation, you can create new neurons. You can grow your brain back, basically. It's absolutely something. It blew me away. And this is my journey, because I really love with my clients, you know, to teach them this. It's the life is not only about negatives. There is always balance. Life is a duality, isn't it? There is always day and there is always night. There is always dark, there is always light, and there is always happiness and there is always sadness. You know, if there was only happiness, we wouldn't appreciate, you know, or sadness, you know, because we wouldn't know, and it would be our norm. So we wouldn't even notice that we are happy. If sometimes there was the other polar, that we are not, then we appreciate the happiness. About 3 years ago, because I came across with, you know, when on my healing journey, I came across with something called tapping, EFT, emotional freedom technique. And I got really curious about it, because when I started practicing it on myself, I felt really better. I felt really good. So then I started thinking, I might find somebody who is a professional who can train me with it. Yeah, when I started working with clients, so I started teaching them how to connect mind and body, you know, because body and mind, as we know, it's really connected. So I started teaching them how to, and helping them actually clear those negative emotions which cause their actually daily problems, either at work or, you know, in relationships or in their own life, because they weren't happy as they might be if they could, you know, check up on their thoughts, and if they could catch them at the moment when some negative thoughts creeping in. So it was very interesting, actually. Just a couple of weeks ago, I did work with a client who told me she really had excruciating headaches for about 3 months. And she said, and it's sometimes so bad that you know, my family rushed me to the hospital, because they were really worried there was something really wrong, you know, with my brain, you know, tumor or something. And both times when she was there, so they made, you know, they ran all those scans and tests, and all those tests and scan both times came fortunately clear. So they said, we are sorry, but we have no idea what's causing this headache, so there is nothing we can do for you. So then she found me and she came to me, and just within first session when we talk, you know, and I just started noticing some patterns in her talking. So I've actually suggested to do some work around her anger. And she said, like, anger, do you think? And I said, well, shall we see? So we did, and within 20 minutes, you know, we cleared the anger that was for many decades suppressed, that she even didn't know about it. She really suppressed it really well. And she always said, oh, I can manage my emotions quite well. And actually then she said, I can suppress my emotions quite well, I would say. Yeah, because she realized that this anger really was there for many, many decades. And Well, the results, last week I spoke to her and I asked her, and how's your headache actually? And she already forgot about her headache. She said, oh, no headaches now. I'm so busy, moving the house and happy here, happy there. And I just smiled. It's like, okay, that's really nice. And this is what makes me really loving my work, because I can see people changing just like this, in front of my eyes. And it's something so beautiful that it's, I can't even describe it, that feeling. So this is something what I do with my clients. So if anybody would like to find something more about me, I have a Facebook group which is called Unleash Your Unlimited Potential. And the book, as you mentioned, Slavomira, as well, Wild Wise Women, I've co-authored with 9 other amazing women, and they are actually our life stories. So at this time, at this transformational and trying time, a lot of women find this book really inspiring, because we actually talked about what we came through and from where to where. So it really shows anybody that there is hope, even if we can't see it yet. There is always hope, no matter where we are in our life, what point in our we are in our life, because we are on the different path and a different part of that path. So I think this is something what really your audience can appreciate, that there are people out there and there are situations out there and there are trees blossoming now and there is sunshine, and when it's not that sunshine, you need to know that when you are on the plane and you go through those dark clouds, when it's rainy and really gray day, when you get up above those clouds, there is always sunshine.
Yes, that's really nice. Thank you very much, Daria. Thank you that you mentioned this connection, disease with some emotion, because I expect a lot of people heard about it, but you can believe it or you just don't believe it. But if you have a proof, like living proof, so that's another thing. So thank you very much for sharing your inspirational story. Thank you all for watching, and bye. We'll see by next episode. Bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye.